Okay, let's get into this. Imagine Osprey, Florida. It's December 1959.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. You've got this young family, Cliff, Christine, and their 2 little kids, Jimmy and Debbie, getting ready for the holidays.
A normal family scene.
Totally. But then, just 6 days before Christmas, December 19th, unspeakable tragedy.
The whole family murdered in their home.
All 4 of them. It's become one of Florida's oldest, most infamous unsolved cases.
And what's really gripping about this one, I think, is the central conflict right from the start.
Right. Was it these random notorious killers just passing through?
Or is it someone local, someone with a very personal motive, maybe an obsession?
And that's what we're diving into today. The evidence, the suspects, and how really modern science might finally break this thing open after, 65 years?
65 years of silence, yeah.
So take us to the discovery, December 20th.
Okay. Ranch hand, Daniel McLeod, he goes to the house. It's just still dark, quiet, too quiet.
And inside.
It's a horror show. Christine, she was only 24, found beaten, sexually assaulted, and shot.
Oh, man.
Cliff, 25, had a single gunshot wound. Very precise, right through the eye. His cowboy hat was still on.
Still on him?
Yeah. And the little boy, Jimmy, 3 years old, shot multiple times. The blood evidence suggested he tried to crawl towards his dad.
God. And the baby,
Debbie, just 23 months old. She was found drowned in the bathtub. She'd also been shot.
It's just unimaginable. How did investigators even start to make sense of that?
Well, that's the thing. The evidence immediately pulled them in 2 opposite directions. It was really conflicting.
Okay, like what pointed to outsiders?
So you had a bloody cowboy boot print, a cellophane strip from a cool cigarette wrapper, a partial fingerprint on the bathtub faucet.
Okay.
And they determined at least 2 different guns were used. That kind of suggests a more chaotic, maybe impulsive attack by strangers.
But then there's the other side, the stuff that was taken.
Exactly. Items with 0 cash value, but huge personal meaning. Cliff's pocket knife, Christine's old high school majorette uniform.
A majorette uniform.
Yeah. And their marriage license? That doesn't sound like robbery, does it?
No, it sounds like trophies. Something deeply personal, someone with a connection.
Precisely. It was like the crime scene was arguing with itself, which naturally led investigators to consider
Hickok and Smith. In cold-blood killers.
The parallels were chilling. Just 5 weeks earlier, they'd killed the Clutter family in Kansas.
Also a family of 4, rural home, no mercy shown.
Right. And their known movements put them right near the Walkers. They checked out of a Miami Beach motel on December 19th, the very day of the murders.
Wow.
And witnesses saw them shopping in Sarasota, just 7 miles from the Walkers, later that same day.
And didn't someone see them the day after with one having scratches?
Yes. 3 people in Nocatee saw 2 men matching their descriptions. One reportedly had a scratched-up face. Investigators theorized Christine fought back, maybe with her shoes, causing scratches.
It fits so neatly. The timing, the MO, the scratches.
It really did. A later detective, Kimberly McGath, she suggested maybe they approached the house pretending to sell their stolen car, and Christine, maybe alone at first, let them in.
So why wasn't this case closed back then with them? It seems so strong.
Well, enter the Truman Capote effect. His book, In Cold Blood, became the narrative.
But he got it wrong.
He included a false alibi. Smith said they were in Tallahassee. That contradicted police reports, placing them much closer.
So the book kind of muddied the waters.
Big time. Plus, early investigators cleared them based on shaky polygraphs and a fingerprint match that was reported as negative, maybe prematurely.
And the sheriff, didn't he make a strange decision?
Sheriff Ross Boyer, critical mistake. He never went to Kansas to interview Hickok and Smith himself. Instead, he consulted a psychic.
You're kidding, a psychic?
Not kidding. So, with those investigative gaps, the other theory, the local one, gained ground.
Because of those personal items taken.
Exactly. That always pointed local. Boyer himself thought the kids were killed because they knew the attacker.
And the local context. Rural Florida in the 50s.
Yeah, you have to remember, it was a different time. Male aggression, harassment, sometimes overlooked. Christine reportedly dealt with unwanted attention from local men.
And Cliff had been in a fight.
A violent one, yeah. The day before the murders, the potential for local danger was definitely there.
So who were they looking at locally? Persons of interest.
A few key names. William Tooker, a 65-year-old neighbor, known to have made advances on Christine, seen at their house at least 24 times, apparently.
Okay.
Cliff's own cousin, Albert Walker, had a reputation for a violent streak. And there was even a serial killer, Emmett Monroe Spencer, who confessed, but Boyer dismissed it quickly, thinking he just read it in crime magazines.
So the case just stalled for decades, caught between these two ideas: Kansas killers or local obsessive.
Pretty much, until forensic science caught up.
Right, the DNA. What happened there?
First attempt was 2012. They exhumed Hickok and Smith to compare DNA to semen evidence found on Christine's clothing. Inconclusive. The samples were just too degraded after all that time, but technology gets better.
Always does.
So, 2019, a new detective, Brandon Clark, sends the evidence back. Newer, much more sensitive methods. And they got it. A complete male DNA profile.
Finally. And the big reveal.
The profile did not match Hickok or Smith. First piece of hard physical evidence ruling them out completely.
Wow. After all those years focusing on them.
Gone. But here's the kicker. The lab report stated that the neighbor, William Tooker, he could not be ruled out as a contributor to that DNA profile.
Tooker, the neighbor who harassed Christine.
That's the one. This shifted everything back towards a local suspect, specifically Tooker.
So what's the latest step now?
In 2023, with the family's permission, they exhumed Cliff and Christine's bodies.
Why?
To get clean, verified DNA profiles from them. This helps isolate the unknown perpetrator's DNA definitively. It sets the stage for forensic genetic genealogy.
Using ancestry databases to build a family tree for the unknown DNA.
Exactly. Like they've done in the Golden State Killer case and others. Trace the DNA back through relatives to identify the source. Detective Clark feels they're closer than ever.
Incredible. You think about the family, like Christine's half-brother Pat Myers, saying he felt like a pinball bouncing between theories.
Yeah.
Feeling like the case just didn't want to be solved.
Yeah, the human cost is immense. Decades of uncertainty.
Yeah. But now, the case is active. The full results from 2023 aren't public yet.
Correct. It's ongoing.
But it feels like, for the very first time in 65 years, the science is actually there. The potential for answers is real.
It is. The question isn't really if the evidence can finally talk anymore.
It's what is it finally going to say?